Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of StormCast. Great to be back on the air with everyone tonight. We have an excellent panel of our team with us tonight. A lot of weather we're going to be discussing. It's been a couple weeks here since we've gotten to do one of these. So welcome to StormCast. I'm your host, Joey Pisani. With us tonight, we have John Maples out in Oklahoma. How you doing, John?
All right.
Awesome. We also have Jesse, the Lady Disaster, up in Iowa. Good evening, Jesse. From up in Pennsylvania, we have Laura. How you doing, Laura?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. With us here in Georgia is Nick Carter. How you doing, Nick?
What up? What up?
Awesome. And down in Florida, finally getting some rain, is Rob Salso. Good evening,
Hello.
Rob.
Sorry, if it sounds weird, I'm washing my hands. I'm going to mute my mic for a second.
All right, and with us also is Ryan in Georgia as well. Good evening, Ryan. Glad to have you on the show tonight.
Evening, guys. How's it going?
Going pretty good. So, guys, couple things we're going to talk about here on the StormCast tonight. We've got three things, so we're going to jump right into it. Recent tornadoes. Obviously, we've had our first EF4 tornado of 2019 and the first one in over a year. We do have ongoing severe weather that we're going to take a look at here. We'll start with that because we do have current tornado warning on the board, and then we'll talk about Winter Storm Ulmer that is developing. So let's jump right into it. Jesse, what do we have going on here in eastern Texas and southeast New Mexico and western Texas?
Well, right now we got a confirmed tornado on the ground. As emergency long tornado near Dexter in New Mexico.
Yeah, so I mean, this is exactly that storm we were looking at earlier. That they were saying that there could be a tornado within the next hour or two, and now here it is. This is actually what Reed Kimmer was talking about not too long ago, with that limited window, and it looks like a bunch of people are kind of down in that area there as well. So this is in southeast New Mexico, kind of just northeast of Del City, Texas. This is that whole. What we're seeing here is this whole system that's kind of developing, that's going to eventually become what some are dubbing the storm of the century, or a storm of the century, I should say. So we're seeing the severe weather right now to continue to develop into becoming a massive blizzard, huge wind event. I mean, we have all sorts of hazards that we're expecting. I mean, just take a look here at this national hazards map that we have ongoing right now. So you can see here hazard warnings from northeast Colorado up through western Nebraska, eastern Wyoming, to North Dakota, winter storm watches. Like the entire state of Wisconsin is those are flash flood watches or flood watches. Most of Minnesota, Iowa, and then down in your area in Oklahoma even, I believe that's high wind watch. So, John, kind of tell us a little bit more about what you've been seeing and what you guys are expecting down there in Oklahoma.
All right. Well, I'm going to start my little show here. We're underneath a wind watch, which is kind of unusual for our area. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. This map that he just was showing, you got blizzard warnings for northeastern Colorado all the way up. You have flash flood watches for Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And then down here towards the Kansas and Oklahoma, you have high wind warnings and high wind watches. And then you have wind advisories as you head into the Missouri and Arkansas area. This is something that our National Weather Service out of Tulsa has put up. It's got an area of 50 to 60 mile an hour winds and then 40 to 50. We had 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts Saturday, and we had carports that were in the road. We had two major towns that had a lot of power outages, and that was a warm up compared to this one. Just a little fun fact: it's been a
Wow.
pretty long time since the National Weather Service out of Tulsa has issued a high wind watch since September of 2008. So a little fun fact. And then you go into the snow part of it, which is in the Colorado area and north. They've extended the winter storm watch or warning into the Denver and Colorado Springs area. That was added a couple hours ago.
Wow.
We're going to have blizzards east of I-25. Road conditions are going to go down. They're saying do not travel after Wednesday afternoon. You have damaging winds 60 to 75 mile an hour with the snow. So it's just going to be pure whiteout conditions. They're saying it's possibly could be the strongest blizzard that Colorado's seen in a decade. So just a little bit of information on that part.
Yeah, absolutely. That's insane. And I know, like, I'm not sure if you guys have kind of looked at the models, but I know some places in the Dakotas could receive maybe 20 plus inches of snow, possibly.
Yeah.
15 to 20 inches, not out of the question up there. And I mean, this is having all the different facets of weather that you can ask for. I mean, we've got severe weather, we've got winter weather, we've got the spring flooding weather. Jesse, talk to us about, what's your what's the flooding risk that we have going on there in your area? What are they saying for flooding for later this week?
For area, they're talking about it being pretty significant. They're putting up already, or putting out alerts for flood warning to action on Friday and Saturday. There's already flood Iowa for small streams and creeks, but the rivers are the banks yet.
Yeah, it's going to be serious. And Iowa into Wisconsin, even down in parts of Mississippi, I mean, there are numerous flash flood warnings.
There is one new
ongoing.
tornado warning for New Mexico.
And there's a new tornado warning, it looks like, in New Mexico that's about to come out here. So we'll get the information on that here shortly. Meanwhile, what about you, Laura? How's the weather up in Pennsylvania been? Starting to warm up a little bit up there, huh?
It will on Thursday. Thursday, the forecast high is 61 degrees. Hours arriving by evening.
I'm having a hard time hearing you there. Oh, there you go. You did something.
Okay.
There we go.
Right now, it's sunny in the 40s for the next couple days. And then Thursday, the forecast high is 61 degrees.
Wow, 61.
Yes.
Nice.
Finally.
Nice. And that's definitely some spring-like weather. And really, guys, it's been a crazy spring, hasn't it? I mean, look at these really since the end of February even. I mean, Nick, the tornadoes, that we've had just even these past 2 weeks. I mean, talk to me about that. What's kind of going through your mind?
I mean, you got to look at how the weather patterns were last year. I mean, versus El Nino, La Nina, and everything that's been going on with that. But you verse this storm season from last year. I mean, the whole year worth of storm season until now. I mean, we had very few tornadoes last year, and then not very many strong ones, significant or violent tornadoes last year. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden, here we go. It's not even a full 3 months, or 4 months into the year, and it's dropping down the strongest tornado in 6 years, or most violent tornado in 6 years, and the first EF4 in like 2 years. I mean, the only other one that you could compare to it would be, which was even weirder, was the Albany tornado we had. What was it? 2 years ago? Yeah, January of 2017. I think they rate that one at EF2 or EF3 that hit Albany, if I remember correctly.
That's the EF3, yeah, the one near Americus. Americus is the one you're thinking of.
No, there was the one that hit Albany in January. The Albany storm. The Americus tornado was April of 2017. That's the storm that I was on. We missed that one just by a little bit because when it shifted a little bit further south on us, that's when we had to go down towards Hawkinsville, and that's when we got it right when it was roping out when we got to it. But it's just weird. I mean, you got to think it's March. Yes, it's meteorological spring already, but for us to have this many tornadoes, especially this many strong, tornadoes, and the one violent tornado this early in the year, I mean, it's a little out there. But I mean, for me, I'm not gonna say, oh, this year is gonna be like crazy for tornadoes. I mean, the proof is in the pudding so far already about how the storms are and what they're producing. So I mean, if the storms keep going at the rate they're going, I mean, we're gonna have a pretty active season this year, I have a feeling, and it's gonna be all across. Not only just I mean, everything's been in Dixie Alley so far. I mean, everything's been down here.
Time of year. Yeah, it's typical for this time of year.
Exactly.
I mean, even Rob, you're in Florida. I mean, you guys had some strong tornadoes too there in Florida in that same outbreak there in Panhandle.
Yeah, up in the Panhandle, they had some tornadoes last weekend up near the Panhandle, like you said. Parts of the Western Panhandle up into Pensacola, parts of there. Can't remember the one city that was in, but I think they had an EF1, maybe EF0.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, Rob. But real quick, all those tornadoes that went through Florida were off the same line from the same day that went through Lee County. So it was all off the same storm system.
Same system, exactly. And
which, I mean that just tells me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
I would say, like today, what we're looking at here, I see that new tornado warning that just came in, kind of for the northern side there.
Warning for New
this
Mexico
year is
and
really
Texas.
the first, high plains system, and usually, I mean, we usually don't see this early in the year, where we're getting these severe systems coming through New Mexico and Texas in March. Usually, it's more of those Gulf Coast systems this time of year.
Exactly. So, it's really strange, especially for New Mexico, especially.
I mean, because what's it usually like there? Isn't it usually pretty dry?
Yeah, I mean, out there, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually real dry and arid out there. I mean, you'll get during the main storm season, you'll get normal, you'll get your typical tornadoes and stuff like that out there. But that's like in the middle of storm season, though, when it really kicks off, especially for that far west. But I mean, like Joe was saying, this is the first, Midwest, day that's on the books so far this year. I mean, what is it? I mean, I haven't really been able, because I was in a meeting all day at work and everything, so I didn't get a chance to really look at the radar and all the warnings and everything. But I know since I've been off, I mean, I've looked, there's been 2 new tornado warnings already since we've been on the StormCast, and not including of what happened earlier in the day that that I haven't gone back to look at yet. But I mean, it gives me the feeling, as active as it's been down here in Dixie Alley, and how active it is today alone in the Midwest, it's leading me to believe that it's going to be a pretty busy, active season this year.
Yeah, definitely is.
Also with us, with the storms that he was talking about, like the one near Americus, there were tornadoes all up around me, but they never went near where I was at, but they were all around us.
Yeah, that's how it was that day. That day, I was like, it was like the middle of April of 2017. Because we stationed up in Milledgeville that day, and then we left Milledgeville, and we had storms firing to our north that were tornado warned, but it was the big one that we dropped south on that was the America storm.
Yeah. And looking here at this warning real quick that just came out, I did want to cover this real quick. This is just southwest of Fort Sumner, This is in New Mexico, and you can see the area of rotation. I mean, it's not super strong, but I do see why they put that warning out. You know, a nice little couplet trying to develop there on this particular cell. So definitely something that will bear some watching here as we go through. You can kind of see it. There we go. Kind of see it developing here. Comes up from the southwest. Obviously, it's still relatively new, but again, tornado warning now issued for that area, which does go until 6:45 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. That's for northeastern Debaca County and southwestern Quay County. So if you live in those areas, definitely be seeking shelter, especially if you're in the Fort Sumner area there in New Mexico. So,
Joey, may I interrupt for a second, please?
Yes.
I have a spotter report 3 miles northeast of Dexter, New Mexico. A tornado ground north of Dexter, but it is roping out.
10 for that. That was that Tor R, I believe, that you were referring to there near Dexter that they were talking about. Yeah. So confirmed tornado on the rope out stages probably by now. But again, you know, this is pretty early to be getting, you know, high plains tornadoes. And this all goes back to what John was talking about earlier. You know, this is the beginning of this massive system that we're going to be seeing develop across the south central and then into the north central U.S. And really, these next 2 to 3 days is going to be huge. Obviously, tonight we're going to be seeing this severe weather threat. We're going to have this squall line that's going to develop and kind of march its way across Texas. Could make it, I think, as far as the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area by early tomorrow morning. Then we'll probably be approaching a little bit more stable boundary layer and kind of weaken out. But I think we could see severe weather through the overnight hours for parts of Texas. Again, that tornado watch that was issued, that does go until, I believe, what is it, 11 p.m. Central Time?
Hang on, I'll tell you right now, Joey.
We also have another confirmed tornado on the ground, Joey.
10-4 on that. Where's that at? That's that one near Loving.
You called it.
Yep. So it was funny, like before StormCast, we were all talking, and I was saying, you know, if I was out there chasing today, the place that I would have set up and targeted, like to start out at, was Loving, New Mexico. I'm like, that's where the tornado is going to be today in that area. I was just, you know, and right now, literally that there it is. Yeah, right. Loving is, well, it's a little bit east of Loving, but if I had been there, I would have been, you know, within 20, 30 minutes of it. So. Not bad, not bad.
And to confirm back that tornado watch time, it's so it'll be 11 p.m. Central, but the way they have it listed is 10 p.m. Mountain.
Yeah, 10 p.m. Mountain time. So John had mentioned, Jesse, let's take a look here. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna have to flip. This is a tricky thing too. I was talking to the team about this earlier with the terrain out in like New Mexico in the high plains area. It really, what radar site you use makes a huge difference as to what you can see. So we're pinging off of KMAF here out of Midland. So here is that rotation. You can see it just here on the southeast side of Loving, very well defined there. Let's see if we have anything showing up on our.
Would you use KFDX?
Just east of Loving, you can see a little bit of debris signature there on the northeast side of Loving there. So on the correlation coefficients there. If you go to 0.9, you can really see it. And again, you have to use different tilts because of the terrain. The elevation out in this area is about 4,000 feet. So the terrain definitely makes an impact there. So, but yeah, confirmed tornado there in that area. So definitely, if you're in those areas, definitely seek shelter for sure. And that continues until 6:45 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time for that area. So it looks like Aaron Rigsby is out in that area. So there's a name that I know. Also Stephen Henry. So awesome. Awesome.
I believe Sean Pigeon's also out there as well.
10-4 on that. 10-4. So what do you guys think about all of this? I mean, John, Laura, feel free to chime in.
But all kinds of weather going on.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a pretty good time to be a spotter in general because there's a lot of activity going on.
I
But
agree.
there's flooding, high winds, tornadoes, and blizzards. So there's everything.
Everything. Yep.
Mother Nature can't figure out what she wants to do right now.
And this is great for somebody like me who wants to learn radar.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it is a great time to be able to learn those things. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which, real quick, Joey, I know we were talking about how these storms were tracking and everything, but they're also, I mean, if you look at the outlook for the 3-day, it's got, they're keeping a slight risk over the next 2 days. So it's going all the way through back around Mississippi and Louisiana and Arkansas and everything again tomorrow for a slight. And then it's always extending all the way back out here towards Alabama again on Thursday.
Yeah, and let me show you guys this. So this is another thing that John was kind of mentioning. I'll show it here to you guys. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna move it here over to this other screen here. There we go. Because this is definitely exactly what we're kind of talking about here. Let me share this to everyone here. So this is pretty much what develops here with this low pressure system. So you can see 974 again. This is the GFS. This is tomorrow morning. Really developing here across southeastern Colorado near the Colorado Springs area. And again, there's gonna be lots of more. This is just the pressure and the wind charts. So you can see these are pressure and 10-meter above ground level winds. So I mean, gets down to 971 there, 969 over western Kansas. So that's kind of where it peaks out right there. Is tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon, at 969, and you're seeing winds 50 knots, which is well over 60 miles per hour, and this is 10 meters above the ground. If we go to let's do the 2-meter above ground level winds. Here we go. Hold on. It's not going to do. I don't have 2-meter on here. But this is pretty much what develops here. So it comes in, develops. You can see all the snow on the back side of the system. Rain and thunderstorms, and some of these are going to be some heavy rain, which is why they have the flooding there. And then those blizzard conditions kind of right there across western Nebraska into northeast Colorado, Denver area, like John was talking about earlier. And really heavy rain, a lot of rain off to the east of this as well. And look at the tight gradient with those isobars there. That's what's going to really be causing those winds to be whipping up. So there where John's at, kind of those southwesterly winds coming in over those areas. And we can just kind of take a look at the sound and just see kind of what the wind profiles like here. And yeah, I mean, very, very strong winds. For sure, aloft, and those are going to get filtered down toward the surface because you've got winds near 100 knots in the upper levels. So very strong and impressive land cane, as some would call it, just because of the crazy amount of low pressure there. 969. You don't see that very often. So this is definitely going to be a very big spring storm system that's going to be unfolding. So, yeah.
Those isobars are practically touching.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, serious.
You can, especially here on the northwest side, you see how compacted they are on the northwest side?
Yes.
That's why they got those blizzard warnings for those areas, because you're going to have, possibly hurricane force winds up there, 60, 70 miles per hour, with even possible higher gusts, blowing all that snow around. So John, what's your thoughts on this? Words of advice for people that are gonna, be going through this, because this is definitely going to be a very impactful system for much of the central U.S.
Yes. Like I said earlier, we had some winds down here Saturday, and it caused power outages, and you had anything that wasn't tied down flew, carports, so on. So I put on my page Facebook thing that we need to today be a good day to get things bolted down, kind of as much as you can.
Make preparation.
Your preparation, and then tomorrow I wouldn't let small dogs or small people go outside, and everybody just might as well expect a bad hair day. But you gotta just prepare what you can. We're in Oklahoma; it gets windy here every spring. It's been a while since we've been this windy, but everybody's kind of used to it. You just gotta make sure you take care of it, and also anybody traveling on the north and south roads will need to watch out for their vehicles getting pushed by the wind, especially your high-profile vehicles.
Yeah,
so that's one danger that some people don't think about. I mean, you can be driving along and there's a hill beside the road, and you're protected, and then as soon as you get out of that hill, that wind hits you like a ton of bricks and kind of moves your car over to the side. So, and definitely a problem if you're on a 2-lane highway.
Exactly, and you're in like one of those, even just those like big SUVs and things like that. Those can really get nudged by the wind there. So Jesse, you talked about it a little bit, but what are they saying for like flood preparations up there in Iowa as we get on into the spring here? We talked about it the other day on Zello, but what's the news like?
As far as what they're predicting, or
obviously this is like could be like the start of all your snow melt and stuff. You were saying that a bunch of snow was melting the other day, so
in the upper 40s and lower 50s this week, the snowpacks melting and ice dams breaking and all kinds of stuff. And as a matter of fact, I am now under a flood. Just trying to pull it up here. In effect, for my area, on snow melt. They're forecasting for 8 hours. Flood stage is 12.5.
Wow. I think we lost her there.
I was talking to somebody that's from the Dakotas yesterday, and he said the main worry they have is they have so much snow on the ground, and when they get this rain, it's not going to have anywhere to go because everything's still frozen. So that's a lot of the problem.
Yeah, especially with those winds.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. The mic disappeared on me. Sorry about that. They're talking about is between for the Cedar River, which goes right through town. The road that goes between Cedar Rapids and Palo, they're going to be closing down because the river goes right under that road.
Got it.
And,
that makes sense.
Over the road.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And what you were saying, John, earlier. Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say that was like, she's talking about flooding in her area. I was talking to my dad the other day because my dad goes fishing a lot, and he hasn't, because of all the rain that we've been having down here. he was saying that, they've been, around here, they've been closing down all the boat ramps on Lake Allatoona down here because I think if he said last time it was almost, if I remember correctly, almost 20 something foot above full pool or over full pool.
They had actually
And,
closed some of the roads in Cobb County. I saw on the news.
yeah, because they went out. My dad and my brother went out fishing in a tournament. Was day before yesterday, and my dad was saying that when they were going underneath the bridge at Red Top Mountain on that side, my brother was able to stand up in the boat and actually smack the top of the overpass of the bridge going over the lake. How over full it was!
Wow, that is crazy. That's a lot of water. A lot of water. What about you, Rob? I mean, you guys have really kind of, been starting to get a lot of rainfall down there in Florida recently. I know you were pretty dry in January, but I mean, how's the weather been changing down there for you this spring?
We're supposed to get rain next week, and believe it or not, we're actually supposed to get some type of cold front from the system coming in. That's very rare for Florida. We're going to be having temperatures maybe in the 50s for the lows, and the highs should be in the mid 70s, and that's very rare for Florida this time of year.
Yeah.
So,
One other thing. Go ahead. Did someone say something?
No.
Yes, Jesse.
I've got something for you.
What do you got?
Look at that. Tornado, baby.
There we go. Is that one out there in New Mexico?
That's on that storm in New Mexico.
Yup.
Nice.
There you go. Amazing. Not a bad
Very,
one.
very well defined.
Yeah, I would say so. I was so close to seeing a tornado the other day. So close, yet so far. Definitely.
We may have a chance on Thursday.
Yeah, we may. Well, let's see. I'm not working Thursday. I have Thursday off.
Well, let me see what I can scrape together. I might try to get Thursday off. We can go actually chase on Thursday.
Okay, sounds good. But no,
awesome.
Back to my chase this past weekend. Went out to Mississippi and was on a tornado warning storm. Jesse did an awesome job kind of helping me get to the right storm. I was debating, set up in Hamilton, and then I'm like, no, I'm actually going to go down to Mississippi. I see a storm develop, and I think that's going to be my storm. Went SVR, and then eventually went TOR, and then nothing happened. It was already like nearly 7 o'clock. Sun was starting to set, and I had to get back over here to Atlanta, which is nearly a 5-hour drive. Thankfully, time zone helped me on the way out. But there were a couple tornadoes that day. Didn't see them, but the structure was awesome. Check out the video; it's up here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it already.
We tried to get to that tornado, but we didn't quite make it.
Yeah, but it was still a good chase. So, nonetheless, I'm really just enjoying this spring. I think it's been a good spring so far. It looks like, John, I think out there in Oklahoma. I'm looking forward to seeing him getting out there and chasing later this spring and seeing what he can get out there in Oklahoma and Cindy as well and some of the others. So it should be exciting. And Jesse, we're hoping that the flooding situation up there in Iowa isn't too serious this year. But I'm sure we'll be doing another Stormcast about that. But again, I do want to thank you guys for all joining me tonight for the Stormcast. It has been an absolutely awesome conversation here with you guys. Definitely keep up with us here on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter as well. Also, if you want to talk to us, we do have an online way that you can communicate with us. You can get an app. It's called Zello. It is free to use. You just download it, create an account, and then search for a channel called EWV Public Lounge. This is kind of what it looks like. So EWV Public Lounge, just add that channel. You can communicate with us on there. We also have a weather warnings channel where we broadcast out the warnings, which is the EWV Weather Warnings and Alerts channel. So definitely subscribe to those as well. Thank you so much, everyone. John, Jesse, Laura, Nick, Rob, and Ryan for being here on the Stormcast with us tonight. Great to have everyone on. We will see you guys again soon. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe out there and keep chasing those storms.
All right, guys. Been a pleasure. Y'all have a good night.
You have a good night too, Nick. Jesse.
Take care.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe here to our YouTube channel at Extreme Weather Videos. Also, check out Washington County Storm Chasers page on Facebook as well. Give them a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys on the next Stormcast.
Have a great night.